What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are all doing well and had good waiver wire runs and had a nice week here. It's finally here, Thursday Night Football. Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Thursday night hangout. This night's for you guys. I'm going to read the player practice news that went on today, and as questions come in, I will answer them and get you guys ready for the weekend. Maybe I do something on Saturday. I don't know, but I will be going live Sunday morning. If you guys want to hang out, we'll get a Sunday morning hangout, 10:30 a.m. Central Time. But let's look at these player news. We got, and I'm just reading the underdog player news here. Jauan Jennings does not practice again today. I think he's trending towards doubtful. So if you have Ricky Pearsall, I'm probably going to want Ricky Pearsall in my lineups. Now, Mac Jones, he's still a super flex option, but it's really thin. If all they have is Ricky Pearsall and CMC out there, maybe Kendrick Bourne's a guy to look at. But I'm expecting no Jauan Jennings on Sunday. Big one here for Seattle. Zach Charbonnet does not practice with a foot injury. This is, he didn't practice yesterday, no practice today. Usually if you miss Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to assume that you're not playing on Sunday. So this is a huge win for Kenneth Walker. The Seahawks do list running back George Holani as their RB3. So we'll see. Kenneth Walker, I shouldn't have any Kenneth Walker questions this week. He's in your lineup, especially, with Zach Charbonnet trending doubtful. So good news for Brock Purdy. Says he's going to be a game time decision for week 3. So I can't remember what time they play. I'm assuming it's a late afternoon game. So hopefully we get some confirmation. Maybe on Saturday we'll get some confirmation on Brock Purdy. Mac Jones, maybe the comment was wrong. Maybe it's just Brock Purdy slinging it to CMC and Ricky Pearsall. So we'll see there. Jalen Waddle active tonight. Evan Ingram does not practice again today with a back. He's been nursing a calf injury, and now he's got a back injury. I honestly think Evan Ingram's droppable in 10, 12-man redraft leagues. I think there's better tight ends out there. The big scare today was Tucker Kraft. It was doom and gloom for a little bit there. We get Tucker Kraft suffering a knee injury, and they say, hey, it's not season ending. And that's really all. They let us hang out there for an hour, and then we get the checkup that says he's going to be okay. So good news on Tucker Kraft. I still don't think we're out of the woods yet. If he can't practice tomorrow, I just don't know if he's going to play on Sunday. So keep your toes, just stay on your toes. Okay. Tucker Kraft might not play this weekend. The Packers do have a bye week 5. I think there's a chance for him to maybe miss weeks 3 and 4, bye week 5, back week 6. To me, that's worst case scenario here for Tucker Kraft. Best case scenario, obviously he's out there week 3 and in your lineups. Good news for lad Dad McConkey, officially practicing in full today. Dallas Goedert, Will Shipley limited in practice. Both guys on track to return this Sunday. Isaiah Likely, we're waiting for his debut. We're not starting Isaiah Likely, but he's definitely a guy that I want to stash in redraft leagues if I can. Xavier Worthy and Jalen Royals limited in practice. I thought I saw an update where Jalen Royals was full, but either way, I think Xavier Worthy is trending towards playing this weekend. There's the Tucker Kraft. Good news for Chris Godwin, limited in practice again today, so no setbacks yet. He's on track to play week 4 is what they're saying. Here's the big one. Emeka Egbuka not practicing back-to-back days. That's a concern. So we'll see here. Tampa Bay maybe losing their talented rookie receiver. Mike Evans are going to fire up, but that makes Baker Mayfield's waters a little bit murkier. Maybe we look at Sterling Shepard in the slot for Tampa Bay. Let me answer. Good evening to Christian, by the way. I saw your questions in here. I'm going to answer these, and then we'll get back to some player news. Tempted to start Pickens over McConkey. Thoughts? I mean, I think it's a fantastic matchup for both guys, honestly. Pickens against the Chicago Bears, that's where we want to be. The Bears giving up the most fantasy points to the quarterback position right now, and then I think they're also giving up the 3rd or 4th most points to the wide receiver position. So I love the Pickens spot, but the Broncos, I think you can pick on their middle of the field, and that's where Ladd McConkey is going to be. I feel very comfortable with Ladd McConkey's floor. We've seen his floor for 2 games here, no touchdowns yet. I think this could be a big game for Ladd McConkey going up against the talented Broncos defense. But again, you can pick on the middle of the field with Denver. You don't really want to test Pat Surtain. I'm just looking to see how McConkey did last year. Denver 6 for 87, 14.7 points, 4 for 43 in this game here in week 6 at Denver. So to me, I think McConkey provides that safe 8 to 10 point floor already, and he's got just as high of a ceiling. I'm going to go with McConkey, but I'm not going to yell at you if you want to play Pickens. Would you prefer to have Franklin over Diggs on the roster? Probably. I think long term, Diggs is looking better week 2 from week 1. But give me the younger player who could be ascending. I'll go Troy Franklin over Diggs, but it's close. Jaden Daniels officially not practicing today. They've been saying all week that Friday is his big test. If he practices limited on Friday, that gives him a chance to play. But this also could just be, a fake out here, and they're just making it seem like Jaden Daniels has a chance to play, and maybe he doesn't even play at all. So more news to come on Jaden Daniels. Good news from the Colts. Both Josh Downs practicing in full, and Tyler Warren is back limited. So good news for your Colts players this week. Again, Emeka Egbuka, man, that's kind of a big one. No practicing this week. Tampa Bay's offensive line's just getting beat up right now. I am kind of nervous about this one. The Jets, I don't think the Jets are going to put up 2 stinkers in a row like this. I think they're going to be competitive, even though it is Tyrod Taylor. I think the Jets want to run the football as much as possible, but the Bucs lose Cody Mock, season-ending injury here. They're down a bunch of offensive linemen right now. Maybe down Egbuka. I'm a little concerned there. Again, Zach. So now we're into Wednesday here. I think I've covered most of the injury news for you guys. Christian's asking me to start 2 receivers, 1 flex. We've got London, Ladd, BTJ, Pickens, Keon Coleman, and Tony Pollard. I'm going to get underdog off my radar here. Oh, my bad. All right, so let's think about this one. London, Ladd, BTJ. Just in my head, those are your best 3 players. That's who should start. I think Tony Pollard, yeah, he is a really nice volume piece right now, but the touchdowns are not flowing in Tennessee quite yet. I think he's, a safe 7 to 12 points. I don't think he has quite the ceiling that the receivers have. So I'm going to start 3 wide receivers here. The question is, which stud receiver do we sit? I kind of want to play Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's in to get peppered with targets. I think I might be sitting Drake London here, man. I'm concerned Atlanta might not have to put their foot on the gas this week, dude. It's in Carolina. It's a low point total. I think they're going to, pound the ball with Brian Thomas or not with Bijan Robinson. I think I'm sitting Drake London here, man. I'm going to go Ladd, BTJ, and Pickens. And London's still kind of nursing some things. Yeah, man, I think it's kind of the rinse and repeat, Christian, where it's basically Atlanta versus Minnesota all over again. We're going to see 30 rushing attempts for Bijan and Tyler Algier. Sure, London can make a couple big plays in the passing game, but I think this game is a game that Atlanta controls. They're going to play good defense. They're going to run the ball. It's not a high-scoring game. I think we give London – if London beats us, that's okay, is basically what I'm saying. I think your ceilings are really good with Ladd, BTJ, and Pickens. I'm not going to put Coleman up on the board yet, but I think Ladd, BTJ, Pickens is where I want to be. And I do want to cover some cool stuff here. If you guys haven't checked out the fantasyfellowship.com, like I'm putting out a ton. So all my free content is under the content tab. The members content, obviously that's the paid content, but I've been doing some survivor pool content, just kind of talking about, things that I want to do and things that I'm looking at. I think Buffalo over Miami is the easy one, but everyone's going to do Buffalo over Miami. So I'm kind of swerving because to me, Buffalo, they're going to get New Orleans next week. They also get New England in week 5. They're going to get Carolina, Miami, and Cleveland yet later in the season. If you're in a survivor pool, I'm personally saving Buffalo for future. I think Green Bay is also a team that you could save. Now they're getting a layup here, but it's on the road. I usually don't like to pick road teams in my survivor pool. Like Green Bay is going to get Cincinnati at home and Carolina at home in a month or so. So I personally would save Green Bay. I would save Buffalo. I think this is where you want to be. Seattle over New Orleans. They're 7.5-point home favorites. That one feels really good to me. I don't know. Yeah, sure. They go to Tennessee and Carolina later in the year, But again, those are road games. I think Seattle is a really good survivor pool pick this week. And then the other one that I do like that is a road team, it's the Atlanta Falcons. I do think they overpower the Panthers. Tampa Bay at home, I think, is also a good one. But to me, it's showing up Seattle. If you guys are in survivor pools, Seattle's the team that I like quite a bit. And then I do put a little week 4 preview. I talk about a blowout league here. So if you guys play in survivor leagues, that's a really fun opportunity to just get some information and what I'm thinking for future weeks. Now, player prop bets, I'm starting to play underdog more. So I haven't been a bit like, I don't like underdog's best ball product, but they loaded $25 into my pick'em account. So I started doing some pick'ems. And if you guys have been paying attention, like we've been doing prop bets for years on the fantasyfellowship.com. Our bet tonight is James Cook anytime touchdown, which is minus 170. But if you parlay it with a Buffalo money line at minus 850, you get those odds down to minus 140. This feels pretty good. It's basically like getting a unit and a half. I think if you bet $20, you're going to get $15 profit. So about a 75% profit here, which is pretty good. So tomorrow I'm going to probably start loading up more props. So if you guys are interested in checking out the props, so far we're off to a pretty good start, 65% on the year. So check out the props. Other free stuff here on the fellowship.com, DraftKings game lines. And I update this a couple times a week, but you guys can get all the spread team totals. And then if you scroll further down, that's where I have the charts. And Mr. Magic, I think BTJ is going to eat. I think it's going to be a good game for the Jags passing offense. And I know Houston has a really quality defense, but I was looking at the Brian Thomas Jr. numbers. And last year he fared pretty well against Houston. Let's pull these up. I disagree with this take. I don't think he effing sucks. I think he's slightly above average at quarterback. He should have had 5 passing touchdowns last week. And they should have won by 2 scores, but the receivers had other ideas. But Brian Thomas Jr. at Houston week 4 goes off 6 for 86 and a touchdown and a 13-yard rush. That's a game with Trevor Lawrence. Later in the year, he goes 4 for 76 and a touchdown, 1 for 11 as a rusher. So he's averaging about 20 fantasy points per game against the Texans in his career in 2 games. So I think they're going to find ways to get him the ball and scheme him. And maybe they're doing less stuff where he's going across the middle. Maybe we're doing more boundary stuff where he just has to beat his man one-on-one. Maybe we just got to get him rolling again. I'm not trading Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's definitely still one of the most, like, he's in such a prime spot to get all these targets, man. I'm going to stick with Brian Thomas Jr. I don't do a lot of research or anything on the props. I basically just load them up. So like starting tomorrow for the prop bets, I'm going to just start making a list and I basically upload them into my table here. I'm going to make it. Sometimes I get up to like 50 bets in here that I'm open to considering. And then we're going to list our favorite top 10 bets. Me and a good friend of mine, we go through and do this. And we've been above 50% every year that we've done this. We want one of these years to have a big spike year and stay above 60%, but we're off to a strong start. So prop bets will get loaded up Friday. Saturday's a good day to check back for the prop bets. So I understand that aspect of it, but it also, it took a little bit of time for us to realize how good Brian Thomas Jr. was. Like, you have to remember, he wasn't a stud sure thing coming in as a rookie. It took him a few games to get those targets, but Trevor Lawrence was feeding him. We had, he threw 4 or 5 touchdowns to Brian Thomas Jr. In the first half of the season. We saw a lot of good numbers here. And then kind of just by the end of the year, Christian Kirk gets hurt. Evan Ingram gets hurt. At that point, I think it's just a product of the system. So I'm not buying that Mac Jones is better. I think there's a lot of details and context behind it. So I still don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a top 5, top 10 QB, but I do think he is slightly above average. And I'm going to disagree with Mac Jones being better than Trevor Lawrence. I'm not starting Pittman, but I have a really good feeling about him this weekend versus the Titans. Let's take a look at that. So I do like FF Today is one of my favorite websites to look at stuff. They do a lot more in-depth stuff than what I show on my site. But what I like about them is you can go and let's look at Titans versus receivers. It's been a pretty good spot this season. So Michael Pittman going up against the Titans defense, we can see so far this year, they've given up 27.6 to Puka Nacua, 22.6 to Devontae Adams, and then Cortland Sutton here with 18.1. So we've seen 3 receivers have smash games in 2 games here. Troy Franklin still 4 for 44. I think this looks like a pretty good spot for Michael Pittman in the passing game as well. I have to sneeze trying to get it out. I think we're going to be okay. But yeah, good spot here for Michael Pittman. There we go. Excuse me. Are we playing Pollard or Jaylen Warren? I'm assuming that. So yeah, I'm assuming this is a full PPR question. And hey, I appreciate you, Christian. I'm assuming this is a full PPR question because then I'm going to play Jaylen Warren. I think Jaylen Warren's locked in. We've looked at his usage all week. It looks pretty good. I think he's starting to take over. I will go Jaylen Warren, although I do feel pretty good about Tony Pollard and the Titans offense in week 3 here. They're starting to show some signs of moving the ball. So I think I got one more sneeze in me yet. I just want to pull up here the Colts versus running back this year. So far, the Colts have allowed Devon Achane to score a touchdown. They let J.K. Dobbins score a touchdown in week 2. You know, it's not a terrible spot here, but I think Jaylen Warren just provides a little bit more juice at this point in time. Tony Pollard's going to get touches, though, so maybe he is the safe play if you just want to collect 8 to 10 points. But if you want to shoot for that touchdown, I don't know. I'm going to lean Warren here, though, just from the passing down work. I think that's where you want to be. Cam Ward really has not thrown the ball to the running back yet. I think Tony Pollard's got 1 catch on the year. And then I do want to show, like, if you guys haven't checked out the fantasyfellowship.com in a while, I've been updating this new receiving stat leader stuff where you guys can go check out my charts and get access to who's running the routes and the targets per route run and all that good stuff. So I don't know. I'm trying to get more eyeballs on the website. I've been putting in a lot of effort and content out there. So check it out. Which team will be playing from behind, Steelers or Titans? I think it's likely the Titans. But the other point too is like the Steelers tend to kind of, I don't know, the Steelers kind of always tend to play down to their opponent, you know. And this one's in New England. I still pretty much trust the data that I saw last weekend from the Steelers, and they basically said, "Yep, Jaylen Warren, you're the guy." And Caleb Johnson also said, "I'm not the guy." You know, he's continuing to just not impress and make mental mistakes. Let's take a look here. You know, Jaylen Warren, 36 out of 62 snaps. That's a big improvement over week 1 where Kenneth Gainwell was the leader in snaps and routes. But I think, you know, if I can get 12 to 15 carries from Warren and 3 to 4 catches, that's going to be better than the 18 to 20 touches that Tony Pollard gets because he's catching passes. He's got a chance at a touchdown. I think for me, I'm going to stick with Jaylen Warren, especially if it's a PPR league. This one's not really even a second thought for me. I'm going Keenan Allen here, Mr. Magic, over Calvin Ridley. I still like Calvin Ridley. I think better days are ahead. But Keenan Allen right now is just playing really, really well. And again, I think the Broncos are kind of frustrated on defense right now. I think you can throw the ball in the middle of the field against Denver. Let's actually pull up the Denver Broncos numbers here. They're going to rank well against receivers here because they haven't allowed a touchdown yet. But Josh Downs, 6 for 51. I mean, the Colts actually all kind of ate. You know, we had 14 catches from the Colts receivers last week. The Tennessee Titans game, I don't know if that's a great barometer to gauge how good the Broncos pass defense is. But last week we did see signs and evidence of middle of the field slot type players. And I think Keenan Allen is the definite. Like, that's why I like Ladd McConkey too. Ladd and Keenan are plays. I mean, this is 100% a no-brainer to me, man. I absolutely love trading Pacheco for Matthew Golden. I'm trying to get to my Twitter page here. So last night how do I get to my profile? I'm so zoomed out. I'm zoomed in. All right, show me my profile, please. All right, let's find it here. So I went back and I watched Matthew Golden running routes, and I mean, this guy, he gets open. He's going to be a player that we want on our squad all year. You have Jaden Reed out of the lineup now. Tucker Kraft, who knows, maybe he misses a game or two here. But Matthew Golden's going to be open a lot. He's very fast and he's good at making people miss. And then there's also this nugget here from Fantasy Points data. And current wide receivers in ASS, which is average separation score, Matthew Golden is getting the most separation in the league so far amongst some elite route runners. We're talking Devontae, Jefferson, Zay Flowers, Odunze. I want Matthew Golden on my team. Everyone should be trying to trade for Matthew Golden. And hey, if you can't get Matthew Golden, go and get Dontavian Wicks because he's looking pretty good too. So yeah, I really like TikTok for posting stuff, but their live is pretty tough because I have to set up my camera and then I have to kind of like the comments come through and then I'll be reading them and then they'll move. And I don't really enjoy doing TikTok lives, but I know I need to do it more. But from a presentation standpoint, this is the best way to consume my content. So I appreciate you, Christian. Would you nurse a roster spot for Mark Andrews or Calvin Ridley? My tight end is Juwan Johnson from waivers. I'm going to hold on. Yeah, I think you're going to hold on to both these guys unless it's like an 8 or 10 man league. I'm going to hold on to both of these players. I think Mark Andrews, like tonight or Monday Night Football this week, is going to be a huge point for him this season. We need to see Mark Andrews come out there and score some freaking fantasy points. We're talking there's 54 implied points in this game. And I need to see something out of Mark Andrews. I mean, they've been dropping 40 points a game, and he's still getting 1 catch per game. So I want to see something from Mark Andrews. The tight end hasn't really done much against the Lions so far this year. There just hasn't been a lot of volume against them yet. But if Mark Andrews doesn't start to show some stuff soon, you got Isaiah Likely come in. I think maybe we talk about this next week. I'm for sure not cutting Calvin Ridley yet. Yeah, let's talk about that. So this is always a good exercise. Tony Pollard and Jaylen Warren, which I would say are both RB2s. Like you feel good about those guys in your RB2, hopefully get you 8 to 12 points, right? So to cash in 2 RB2s, I mean, I would assume that you could maybe get a Bucky Irving right now. I'm starting to think about like round 2, 3 picks from the draft a few weeks back. So to me, Bucky Irving qualifies. Maybe Alvin Kamara could be a guy that could help you. You're not getting Saquon Barkley. You're not getting James Cook, McCaffrey, Bijan, Achane, JT. You can ask. I don't think you're going to get one of these elite top 5 running back profiles. But I do think Bucky Irving owners are a little frustrated right now. You could try Josh Jacobs. You could maybe try Kenneth Walker right now before his owner sees that Zach Charbonnet is missing practice this week. Those are some of maybe Ashton Genty, but for me, I'm going to give it one more week here with Tony Pollard and Jaylen Warren because I still like their spots for this week. The Packers love spreading the ball, but now that Jaden Reed's not taking routes, like there's really only 4 dudes running routes. You're going to have Tucker Kraft running routes, and it's going to be the 3 receivers. So everything's going to be just that much more condensed, which even if it's 1 or 2 more targets per game, that's going to benefit because I think the opportunity to catch a touchdown in the Packers offense is very, very real. Like the way they're running the ball, playing defense, and Jordan Love's just moving the ball, like you got a good chance at making 3 or 4 plays with one of these receivers, whether it's Dobbs, Wicks, or Golden. I think they're likely 3 to 4 catches per game. And then, the big play is the touchdown. Hopefully they start to fall. And good evening to Lucius. He needs 2 receivers and 1 flex. Options are Tyreek, Debo, Sutton, J.K. Dobbins, and Cooper Kupp. Thanks in advance. Okay. 2 receivers and 1 flex. Oh, that's tough. I mean, Sutton's got a tough matchup here against the Chargers. Like, I really don't want to mess with the Chargers defense right now. I do think that game's going to be a little high scoring, so I'm kind of intrigued to see what happens. But let's just, I mean, the Chargers, that's a good defense right here. So far in the year, they let Marquise Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster, so smaller, undersized guys underneath. They haven't really let outside receivers do much. You know, Marquise, Juju, and Jacoby Myers, that's all kind of middle of the field stuff. So I'm not super into Sutton. I think your 2 receivers, I think you got to, you know, we got to wait and see if it's going to be Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota. I think you're going to lock in Tyreek Hill tonight, man. I'm going to lock in Tyreek Hill tonight. If Jaden Daniels plays, I'll play Debo. Otherwise, I think Cooper Kupp against the Saints looks pretty good. So that's what we're going to do. Your 2 receivers. We're going to go Tyreek Hill tonight, and you're going to get your points tonight. If Jaden Daniels plays, I'll play Debo. If no Jaden Daniels, you can still play Debo, but I'm probably just going to go to Cooper Kupp at home against the Saints. That feels pretty good to me. And then for my flex, I mean, you're getting J.K. Dobbins here against the Denver Broncos or against the Chargers. He has looked good. He's been getting touchdowns. But I think I'm going to stick with the receivers, man. I'm going to go Tyreek, Debo, and Kupp. I think that's where I'm going to go. And yeah, Tucker Kraft, a bit of a scare earlier today. But they're saying that he avoided anything serious. So let me just scroll on down here to the Tucker Kraft updates. So at one point they're saying that it's not season ending, which like that I was concerned with that verbiage, and now they're just saying he's going to be okay. I kind of put out the best and the worst case scenario. Best case, yeah, he's back week 3 here. He's playing on Sunday against the Browns. Worst case scenario is he's going to miss weeks 3, 4, has a bye week 5, and he's back week 6. So that's kind of the range. For me, I think it's no more than 2 games missed for Kraft right now. And good evening to Josh. Do I trade Hampton, J-Mo, and Diggs for Breece and Rice? I'm going to hold here. I still believe in Hampton. I think he's a first-round talent for a reason. I really like Jameson Williams. I think Diggs is still useful for now. I think the jury's still out on how good the Jets' offense is going to be. And then, honestly, we still don't know what's going on with Rashee Rice. Like, he's still suspended for a few more games, but how is he going to look when he comes back? I think it's going to be good. But I still think, you know, Hampton, J-Mo, and Diggs, I still think those guys have some value and can be starting in your lineup. So I'm going to hold. I'm going to hold for now. Unless your team's really stacked and you don't need Rashee Rice for the next 4 weeks. If you're 0-2, I'm not doing this deal. If you're 2-0, I might do this deal. Knicks or Love rest of season. It's not close. I'm going Jordan Love. I think the way the Packers are playing football right now, like there's a real chance that Jordan Love's going to throw 30, 35 touchdowns. He's probably throwing 2 touchdowns a game. And I think his safety is looking pretty good. And there's going to be games where they're going to have to throw the ball, higher scoring games where they have to throw the ball. Knicks, I think, did look better in week 2. But they want to, I don't know, they want to spread the ball out there. I'm going to go with Jordan Love here. And last question of the night, guys. I got to get ready for this Thursday night football game. So reusable, foldable shopping bags. Welcome to the show. I start Kenneth Walker, Tyreek, Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen, Olave, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne. Well, the good news is Zach Charbonnet is likely not playing. So you're going to start Kenneth Walker as your RB. Start 2. Ooh. You probably should start Travis Etienne. Otherwise, if you don't want to do Etienne, I'm going to go Keenan Allen. I'm not going to start Tyreek Hill here. I think that's the move. I'm not going to start Tyreek Hill here, even though I think the Dolphins put up some points tonight. So start 2 reusable, foldable shopping bags. I'm starting Kenneth Walker for sure with one of these picks, and then I'll wait for Travis Etienne or Keenan Allen later. But hey, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Thursday evening. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you guys are new. Please check out thefantasyfellowship.com. We got a lot of stuff going on there. And have a good night, guys. Good luck. Go Buffalo, go Dolphins, whoever you need. We'll see you next time. Peace.